enough.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning. Welcome to our weekly COVID chat. Another glorious day.
Elaine's glad that it's Friday. It's been a long week.
It has been a very, very long week. I'm ready to lie down and read a book. That's what I'm ready to do.
Awesome. But first, the news.
First, yes. First, we'll bring you all the news that's fit to share. So, it's been a busy week, but in some ways a quieter week because there's not quite as many brand new announcements and plans. That being said, of course, we're getting closer to when the Alberta government has said that they're going to do their relaunch of the economy. And in theory, that may happen starting next week, and it may happen throughout Alberta. It may happen in different stages in different areas, for example, Calgary and High River and so on. But things may start changing in terms of what people can do, where they can go, that sort of thing as of next week. But again, I certainly don't see this as being a linear thing. It's not going to happen just all in a row. There's going to be fits and starts and changes between the different areas, and depending on what happens in terms of if it causes another surge of outbreaks. We don't know. So trying to balance things. We are moving forward to having a structured opening or availability at our offices. We're been stocking up on hand sanitizer, and we're probably going to have some sort of plexiglass thing when you come in the front doors where Pauline is.
So in front of her
in
counter?
front of her counter there, or as on top of her counter. So that's the thinking right now. We're still going to continue having people rotate in or out of the office. We're still discouraging, for our staff, and we're still discouraging, large groups together. But we're going to see how it unfolds. But in the short term, certainly not everyone is coming back in at the same time. That's not going to happen. Children's services in the various video conferences we've been part of this week are looking towards when, down the road, not next week, but when they're going to move back to doing some face-to-face interaction with the children. So that, again, that's not decided about when or exactly how, but could have situations where caseworkers are going to resume having contact with the kids on their caseload. And then after that, obviously, we're going to have to do some thinking about how family visits would happen. So again, that's not next week, but it's
perhaps not even next month. We don't know.
We don't know
anything at this point.
Exactly. So it's something to start thinking about how you might manage it in your home, what sorts of suggestions you might have, ideas, and it's such a new ground. We really don't know, but just have that in the back of your mind in terms of where things are happening now.
Because at our last Align big meeting, I know there was discussion about what this might look like, and it was agreed upon that the whole service team would have to be comfortable, and you're part of the service team. Before people were the caseworkers were resuming visits with kids. So, I mean, again, you could be creative. You might decide you're not comfortable with people coming into your home, but maybe you could bring the kids somewhere neutral so that everybody can kind of keep their distance. Or we might decide that maybe your support worker will come into the home, but you would still have video chatting with the rest of the service team so that you reduce numbers in your home. We're going to be creative in trying to make this work and keep everybody safe. And those of you who, again, have chronic illnesses and immune compromised souls in your home, for you, we'd have to look at all of this completely differently. But this is down the road. It's not happening soon. We just want you to start thinking what this might look like for you.
So those are the big points that I can think of. it continues to be such a strange time, but I think in many ways people have just gotten in the rhythm of what works for them. They're staying at home, doing crafts, doing whatever. Certainly we've heard of lots of different things, nature walk, bingo, and so on. So, I mean, there are things that people are doing that are, you know, managing their own normal. So
Their own normal.
yeah.
And it's been made clear to us all that this is going to be our new normal for quite a while. So just how to how to roll out slowly and safely.
Yeah.
Okay. Segueing into how you feel about all of this. Again, at a line meeting that Elaine and I were listening in on, one of the agencies was noting that when support workers would talk to her foster parents and say, "How are you doing?" they'd say, "We are fine. We're doing the best we can." But then when she had a kind of a whole town hall meeting for all of her foster families, and they were polled anonymously about how they were feeling, they all anonymously agreed that they were very anxious and not doing well at all. So
Yeah.
So I'm going to assume that this is common, that those of you watching us right now are feeling anxiety and worry and uncertainty. We want to be able to support you in that. So please don't be shy about telling us how you're feeling. Talk to your support workers about what's going on in your head. Use us as your sounding board. And again, we do have some resources available for you if you feel you need to talk to somebody about how you're feeling. We have Janet has offered, our CEO has offered access to our provisional psychologist upstairs at Kells for a fee, sorry. But we were thinking that we might explore whether we can get support plans for our foster parents if you need to access somebody. And we recommend it. Keeping it bottled up isn't going to help anybody. So think that through and talk to your support worker if you think that would be beneficial for you. Okay, so another topic for us to discuss with you is respite provisions. So if you are a family who's providing respite to other families, we want you to be thinking about what kind of infection control measures you have in your home. We have had one instance this past week where a casework supervisor was asking us how we were guaranteeing as much as possible the safety of kids coming and going and of the kids who are currently in your foster home. So if you are currently in a cohort with another family so that your kids might go there for respite and theirs might come to you and your families are social isolating and your two families are interacting together, that's one scenario. If you are a family who provides respite to more than one child, or perhaps your child's going to some place for respite in a home where you know they might be providing respite to more than one child, more than one family, please think through what your infection control measures are. How do you disinfect bathrooms and bedrooms before a new respite child comes? How do you manage your kids' possibility of bringing viruses into your home after they've been on respite? So just be thinking about that. We might be calling you up and asking just to keep the whole service team informed about what's happening. My last topic is about expense claims. As you all know, every year at our fiscal year end at the end of March, we have a hard cutoff because the government is busily trying to balance their books. We're trying to balance our books, and there's a lot of running around for last second approvals and just making sure all of our numbers tally up properly. It's a big job. Excuse me. So we don't typically resubmit March and pre-March expenses after the end of March. We have started getting some people sending in their March expenses. Because this is a pandemic year, we have made an exception for some of you, but we need you to be aware that we cannot pay you anything until this has been approved. So if we forward something on and the government says, oh, no, we're not going to pay that because our books are closed, then we can't pay you. So this is crossing our fingers and sending it in, but it is a complete exception. This is not something that we will do next year.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that makes sense, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Such a
Especially
big
in
job.
that it is May.
Yeah.
After all.
It is May.
It is
I really
May.
don't want to see any more of your March expenses. Please
No.
don't send them in.
No.
All right. So that's all of our news, but now I thought we would really quickly introduce you to somebody new who most of you have been hearing from, but you have perhaps not seen her face. All right. So folks, this is Linda Ajamai.
Hi.
Linda is our most current hire as a support worker. We're thrilled because our numbers of placements in our program have been stable enough in the last 6 months that we are able to hire another support worker.
Yes.
So Linda is in process of learning this role.
Yeah.
I thought she's been with us for 74 days so far.
Mm-hmm.
2.5 months.
2.5 months.
So Linda, I thought I would ask you a few questions, and you had them ahead of time, so you had a little bit of time to think it through, so I'm not just chucking stuff at you.
Sure.
And she's a little bit nervous about being on screen.
I'm nervous. Yeah, but
I'm almost worn down. I used to be very nervous about staring at this, but now it's I'm kind of comfortable with it. All right, so Linda, what did you do before you came here?
Well, my background is CSD. I worked for McMahon Family Intervention Services for about 4 years, some months.
What were you doing?
I was doing youth work and also family time coaching. So
awesome. Okay, can you tell us an interesting fact about you?
Interesting fact about me is, I don't know, for me, I think people can tell that I'm from Ghana, from West Africa.
I don't think they can tell that necessarily. I think they know that.
Well, they can
your
tell that I'm
parents
from
aren't
Africa.
Scandinavian. I think that would be the limit.
Yeah, totally. So,
were you born in Ghana?
Yeah, I was actually born in Ghana. So, yeah, that's an interesting fact.
I think it is too. When did you come here?
I came here when I was 4 years old. I actually was raised in Toronto, and then I moved here later on.
More and more interesting facts.
Yeah.
Excellent. Okay, my last question. Starting a new job during a pandemic can be different than typical job
Very.
starts.
Very interesting.
What has been a challenge for you that you're noticing?
I wouldn't say it's a challenge. I think I'm appreciating this time that it's not that slow.
Mm-hmm.
I think things are picking up in the office, but where I'm able to learn a lot more within the office and really take time to get to know some of the families and the files that I'm going to be taking over. But yeah, I don't really think it's a challenge. I think it's just seeing, I guess, I would prefer to see most of the families face to face.
Yeah, wouldn't that be nice?
Yeah, it would have been really nice if that was the case. But yeah, I mean, this is the situation right now. So.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So typically a support worker who's new would jump in the car with the other support workers, drive all around, meet the families, talk about life as a support worker in the car. Linda hasn't had that opportunity, so it is rolling out differently for her. However, we're moving forward, and we haven't quite identified what her new caseload will look like, but she will be calling more and more of you and taking over more and more of some of the duties that a support worker has. What have you noticed so far that you are enjoying?
The conversations with the families over the phone.
Yeah.
I get to really build the connection and the sense of support for you guys while I'm speaking to you guys over the phone. I can very much empathize with you guys staying home and being cooped up and with the kids. So yeah, I really, really understand, guys. And I really appreciate when you guys go off topic and tell me a little bit more about your personal stuff. And yeah.
So nice to talk to an adult rather than the children that you're teaching school to right now.
Right.
Yes. Wonderful. Thank you very much. So, folks, you will be hearing more. Some of you will be hearing more and more from Linda, and we will stay tuned, keep you tuned in on what her caseload will look like in the coming months.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right.
Have a good weekend, everybody.
All right. You too.